Hello and welcome to Learn Camtasia Basics for the absolute beginner. Hi, I'm Esan. I will be guiding you through this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. And if you find this tutorial useful and want to see more, please like and consider subscribing so I can create more useful tutorials for you. Okay, let's get started. Camtasia is a screen recorder and video editor, which are two separate programs, but are integrated seamlessly. If you don't have Camtasia, follow the link in the description, which will take you to the TechSmith website, where you can get started. Camtasia is available for a one-off payment, and the price you pay reflects the current amount related to the country you live in. Once you have purchased Camtasia, you can upgrade to the current version for a set amount, and you can also start with a 30-day free trial. The free trial includes a fully functional Camtasia program. However, any video you render with the free trial will have the Camtasia logo watermark on it, but at least you get to find out how easy and fantastic Camtasia is. In this tutorial, you will learn the basics of Camtasia, so you can start using it today. We will explore the start screen, file handling, the user interface, the screen recorder, the video editor, and some useful tools. The start screen. When you start Camtasia, you will be presented with the new start screen, with many options to choose from. On the left, you have Getting Started, which is the current screen. Learn, where you can access some basic tutorials on the TechSmith website, which you won't need after completing this tutorial. And Resources, where you can get online help, community support, tech support, and download the keyboard shortcuts, poster PDF. The start screen allows you to start a new project. A new project from template, open an existing project that you have previously created, or start a new recording, which currently gives you three options. Start a Camtasia screen recording. Install the new OD8 audio editor from TechSmith, or start a Snagit image capture recording. Below these options, you can see the most recent projects that you have previously created, and a list of templates that you can start your project with. Let's start a new project. File handling. You can import media files into Camtasia, either by locating the file through the File menu. Scroll down to Import, click on Media, and look for the file on your computer. Or open the folder containing the media you wish to import, and click and drag it either to the media bin, or directly onto a track on the timeline. You can select multiple files to import at the same time. When you go through the File menu, you can click on the drop-down arrow where it says All Media Files to see the file formats you can import. This chart shows you all the file formats that you can import from Camtasia 2018 onwards. When you finish working on a project, click the Export menu, and you can export the whole project as an MP4 video, as well as save the frame where the playhead is at as a PNG image, or export the audio file on its own. The Export button on the top right corner of the screen allows you to save the video only to where you choose. Finally, you can save your completed project with all its media, so you can reopen and work on it again at any point in the future. Go to the File menu and Save As, give your project a name, and save it where you like. The user interface. The Camtasia user interface is divided into 5 main parts. At the top, we have the menu and video options bar. On the left, we have the Tools panel, where you can access any media you imported or recorded, as well as the library, animations, shapes, behaviors, transitions, and many more. In the center, we have the canvas, where all the action on your project takes place. You can place, resize, and move media, as well as zoom and pan, and everything else you do with your project. On the right, we have the Properties panel, where we can adjust and fine-tune media and effects. And at the bottom, you can see the timeline, where you can arrange and edit your media clips. The screen recorder. You can start the screen recorder from the Programs menu inside the TechSmith folder, or from within Camtasia by clicking the Record button. The second option will start the Camtasia recorder and hides the Camtasia editor. The screen recorder allows you to record your screen, your webcam, or any other camera connected to your system, your webcam microphone, your system microphone, or any external microphone connected to your system, as well as record your system audio. You can press the toggle buttons to turn on whichever of these you want to include in your recording, and press the down arrows to choose from the available options you have on your system. You can select the size of the screen you wish to record, either from the available options, or you can choose Custom Region and either click and drag on the area you wish to record. Or type the width and height directly in the corresponding boxes. Once you have made all the choices you want to include in your recording, you can press the Start Recording button. Camtasia will start the countdown to start recording, and you will see a counter with a blinking red light, showing you the length of your recording, in hours, minutes, and seconds. This counter bar will not appear in your screen recording. You also have 4 more buttons on the counter bar. The first one allows you to hide the bar. The second allows you to reset the recording. You will get a prompt to confirm if you click it. The third allows you to pause and restart the recording. And the last one will stop the recording and return you to the Camtasia editor, where you can find your recording inside the media bin. It is a good idea to practice with a few short recordings and reset the recording to achieve the best results. Also, it is better to create a few small recordings than one long one, so you can manage them better and find what you need faster. Okay, let's make a quick recording. Hi everyone. I am now on the TechSmith website, making a quick recording sample, using the Camtasia recorder. Thanks for watching, and I will now end this recording. The video editor. Let's start editing a video. Either import a video into the media bin, or record a short video with the screen recorder, and drag it from the media bin onto a track on the timeline. Right-click on the video track and select Separate Audio and Video. This will separate your video file into 2 tracks, one will have the video and the other will have the audio, and you can edit either or both simultaneously. To preview your video, you can press the play button or the spacebar on your keyboard. To jump to a point in the video, click on the timeline or click and drag the playhead to scrub through the video. If you want to remove a section from the video, drag either handle on the playhead to select the part you want to remove and click Cut to remove it. A stitched line will appear to show where the media was removed. If you cut too much or too little, click Undo to try again. If you make a selection and want to bring the playhead back together, double-click the playhead. If you want to remove the beginning or the end of your video, click and drag the end of both tracks in. This is called trimming, and if you trim too much, simply drag the tracks back to restore your video. You can use the zoom slider to zoom in on the timeline and fine-tune your video editing. You can use the magnifying glass to fit your entire project to the timeline. To add additional media, titles, or effects, drag them from the Tools panel to the timeline. And to move media on the timeline, click and drag them to the desired position. when you select an effect, such as a transition, clips on the timeline highlight, showing you where they can be applied. When you add additional media to the timeline, use the canvas to position and resize your media. And use the Properties panel to fine-tune your media and effects. If multiple images or video clips overlap on the timeline, the one on a higher track is placed on top of media in the lower tracks. You can place the playhead anywhere you want, and press the S key or Command+T to split any media on the timeline. This can be useful if you want to move the audio or any other media slightly forward or backward by clicking and dragging after you split the media. Click and drag to select more than one track and split them simultaneously. You can also right-click on the video track and extend the frame where the playhead is by as many seconds as you need. This is called freeze frame. Right-click on a video clip and use Add Clip Speed. Change the speed value in the Properties panel to speed up or slow down the video playback. On the left of the tracks, you have the track numbers. If you double-click on the track name, you can rename it. And if you right-click, you will have other options, like inserting a track below or above. The I button allows you to hide or show the track. A hidden track will not be included when you export your video. The magnet button allows you to remove all gaps on the track simultaneously. The lock button allows you to block any modification to be made on the track, including moving on the timeline or resizing and repositioning on the canvas. You can use the vertical slider to change the height of all tracks simultaneously. You can also click and drag on the edge of any track or the canvas to change their height. This drop-down arrow allows you to add a marker or quiz where the playhead is. You can add a marker on the timeline or individual track where you see the blue cross. Replace the text in the Properties panel to add info or a reminder. The plus button allows you to add a track. And above, we have buttons to undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, split, and save an image from the playhead position to the timeline and the media bin. Next to the play button, we have these two buttons, which will move the playhead one frame forward and one frame backward. The other two buttons will move the playhead to the next split media or back to the previous split media on the timeline. These buttons allow you to edit the canvas and project settings. The Edit button allows you to move, resize, and rotate media on the canvas. Click and drag to move, click and drag on any node to resize, and click and turn to rotate. You can also change any value in the Properties panel to control the canvas. You can scale the canvas size, change the opacity level, inclination, and position of any visual clip by rotating these dials, or typing exact values in the corresponding boxes. You can reset any value with the revert buttons on the right. The Pan button allows you to move and drag the canvas for a better view. This is useful when you zoom in on the canvas. All media retain their original size and position, and editing is disabled in the Pan mode. Click the Edit button to go back to normal edit mode. The Crop button allows you to crop the size of your video. Click and drag while clicking any node, and hold Alt or Option while dragging to preserve your video aspect ratio. You can zoom in on the canvas by selecting any of the available options from the drop-down arrow. Click Fit to return to normal view. Click Detach Canvas to remove the canvas from its position, and click the X or Reattach Canvas button to return. Click the Project Settings button to check and change any value. You can select and change the video aspect ratio from the available settings. Choose 1080p for a standard HD video. The background color is set to black by default, but you can change it if you prefer. I normally use 30 frames per second for the frame rate, which is suitable for most purposes. The higher the frame rate, the larger the file size, which will take longer to render when you export the video. Auto-normalize loudness prevents your project audio from having different levels if you import different audio and video files. You can click and drag the edge of any clip to increase or decrease the length of media clips on the timeline. Just note that audio and video clips cannot extend longer than their original size, which means they can only be shorter unless you add a clip speed. When you select an audio track on the timeline, you can increase or decrease the overall loudness, either from the Properties panel, by increasing or decreasing the gain, or by clicking inside the audio track and dragging the green line up or down. You can double-click on the green line to add audio points, and create sections that you can drag up or down to adjust the volume for these parts of the audio clip. When you split your media to create unwanted sections, you can press the Delete or Backspace button to delete them. This will create a gap in the media clip, but if you hold Ctrl or Command while you press the Delete or Backspace button, you can create a ripple delete, which will delete the section and remove the gap at the same time. Holding Shift while you click and drag the edge of a media section, you can ripple edit your media, which means you can adjust one section's length and remove the gap simultaneously. If you select more than one clip, you can drag the edge of any of them to adjust them simultaneously. Camtasia has a large number of tools designed to enhance your video and allow you to add effects, animation, annotations, transitions, behaviors, and many more. Let's explore some of these tools. Starting at the top of the Tools panel, we have the library, which is packed with hundreds of items that you can drag and add them anywhere on the canvas. These will be added at the playhead position on the timeline. You have audio, callouts, micro animation, and many more to utilize and improve your videos with. You can double-click on any item inside the many library folders to preview it and add it to your video. I will drag an intro and an outro onto the timeline to show you how you can add library items to your video. When you select any library item, you can easily customize it in the Properties panel by changing the text, font, text properties, shapes, and color with just a few clicks. Annotations have hundreds of callouts, arrows, shapes, sketch motions, and more that you can add to your video just by clicking and dragging. Each element can be customized using the Properties panel. You can add any item to your video. Place the playhead at the exact position you like, click and drag it onto the timeline. You can also drag to reposition visual items on the canvas as well as resize them by dragging any node. While your item is selected, use the Properties panel to adjust any or all the available options for the selected element. Click on the edge of the item you've added and drag it to adjust its length on the timeline. If you customize a callout with specific properties, you can click the plus button to save your callout with all the modifications you've made. You can then click the star icon to add your customized callout inside your favorites folder for quick future access. Click All to return to all callouts. The Favorites folder allows you to add items that you use frequently, so you can access them faster to reduce your video editing time. To remove a favorite, right-click and select Remove from Favorites. Camtasia is packed with a large number of transitions, which makes it possible to move from one video clip to another with a smooth transition. You can use transitions at the beginning and end of visual elements, and where two clips are next to each other on the timeline. Depending on your video clips, some transitions would be more effective than others. Some practice will give you an indication of what works best. The length of a transition is set to 1 second by default, and you can change that by selecting the timing preference from the Edit menu. You can also click to highlight an individual transition and drag it to increase or decrease its length on the timeline. This will make the transition between the two clips faster if you reduce its size, or slower if you make it longer. You can add any of the available behaviors to text or visual clips to animate their appearance. Click and drag a behavior onto the desired clip, and you can adjust the behavior in the Properties panel. The behavior can be edited for in, during, and out points of the clip on the timeline, with all the available options to choose for each point. The Animation tool allows you to add a single or multiple animations to any visual element in your video. The Zoom and Pan tab lets you zoom in on any part of any visual element, just by dragging the nodes on the window to the desired position. It will scale and position the part you select automatically to fit the part you select to the entire project setting. Of course, you can add a zoom and pan in succession, so that you can zoom and pan to one section and then repeat for another section of the same visual element. When you're done with zoom and pan, you'd want to return to full screen mode. Click the Scale to Fit button and you'll be back to the full screen mode. The Animation tab has many specific animation actions, which you can play with and use in the same manner as zoom and pan. You can use the Custom Animation tool, which is the one I use the most, to create any specific animation you desire. Click and drag it onto the visual element you want to animate, and place the playhead at the beginning of the animation arrow to set the start position. Then place the playhead at the end of the animation arrow and create the animation destination you want. When you use the Custom Animation tool, you will often want to go back to the previous screen size, position, or both. Camtasia has a restore animation action that you can use to go back to where you were before the last animation. This saves me a lot of time, and I use it in every video I create. For example, if I start with a 5-point star with a specific size and color. At the end of the animation, I can change the size, position, and color of the star. You can click and drag the animation arrow on the timeline, as well as right-click on it to delete the animation. The length of the animation arrow dictates the speed of the animation. When you create instructional videos, one thing can help your viewers follow along is having a way to highlight your cursor as you move your mouse and click on specific points. Camtasia has a few cursor effects that you can utilize to help you bring the point you're trying to make home. You can add cursor effects to your mouse pointer, such as spotlight, highlight, smoothing, and magnify, by dragging the effect onto the video clip you want to highlight. You can also add mouse click effects to draw viewers' attention to where you're clicking on your Camtasia recording. Take note that cursor effects are made available when you create a screen recording and will not work on other videos. You can replace your cursor shape by clicking on any of the available shapes in the Properties panel. From Camtasia 2022 onwards, you can modify the cursor movements to create a customized path. In the Properties panel, click on Edit Cursor Path to edit the existing path or create a new one. The cursor path has several nodes that you can click and drag to a new position along the new path you wish to create. You can also adjust any node handle to modify the curve or line, as well as double-click on any node to highlight it and press Delete or Backspace to delete it. Click Finish Editing to exit the cursor path and apply the changes you've made. When working with audio, you can open the Audio Effects section to access the available effects, and simply drag any of them onto the audio section you want to improve the audio. You have audio compression, clip speed, emphasize, fade in, fade out, and noise reduction. Camtasia has many visual effects that you can utilize to change the look of your video and other visual clips, such as annotations. From the Visual Effects tab, you can drag and drop any of the available effects on visual elements to improve or change the way they look. You can add motion blur or use remove a color to remove any color. This is used by many creators to remove a green screen. As with all other effects, you can adjust all the available options in the Properties panel. Camtasia also has other tools to help you add voice narration, which can be overlaid onto your video. You can also use the Interactivity tool to add a quiz to measure your viewers' understanding. And finally, you can use the Closed Caption tool to create captions by typing them directly, or you can import a file that you've previously created by dragging and dropping it here. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Please consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you get notified when I release a new video. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next tutorial.